to Bibarel 𝘿𝙚𝓽𝓾𝓻𝓷𝓮 featuring the new Honchkrow from Lost Origin with a Night Cyclone attack, doing 160 damage for 2 darkness and 1 colorless, moving all energy from this Pokemon to your bench in any way you like. So we're playing this card with the old Galarian Weezing from Chilling Reign with the Energy Factory ability, turning all basic darkness energy attached to your Weezings into a double darkness, helping us do a lot more damage with our Smog Burst, which is hitting 20 more damage for each darkness energy attached to all of your Pokemons. We also have an extra copy of the Galarian Weezing from Rebel Clash, helping us do the ability lock early game and also to counter one price decks with Neutralizing Gas and Ascension. To help us get more darkness energies into play, we have one Galarian Moltres with the Malevolent Charge ability, which allows us to attach 2 darkness energy from our hand to this Pokemon as we put it onto the bench, 3 Dark Patch and 1 𝘿𝙚𝓚𝓚𝓽𝓾𝓻𝓷𝓮. For the draw support, we're playing 2 Bibarels, 1 Radiant Greninja, 2 Bruno, and 1 Marnie. We also have 1 Clara to retrieve our Pokemon energies, 1 Pal Pad to show back our supporters, 1 Boss's Order, and 1 Manaphy. To summon our basic Pokemons, we have 4 VIP Pass, 3 Quick Ball, 1 Level Ball, and 1 Heavy. For the Evolution, we have 2 Incense, 3 Ultra Balls, and 1 Great Ball. We also have 1 Escape Rope, 1 Scuba Net, 1 Air Balloon, and 1 Hiding for the Switch, and 11 basic Darkness Energy. So that's all for the deck list, now let's go for some gameplay! Okay, let's go with our first game versus Arceus with Giratina. They got multi V-Stars with the Flying Pikachu, they're playing a very meta deck. And we have our 1 prize Honchkrow. We're doing Night Cyclone for a moving effect, transferring all energy. You actually have to transfer all energy attached to your Honchkrow, so they don't actually give you the option of moving only 1 or 2 energies. You actually have to transfer all energies. That means you're gonna have to watch out for boss. If your opponent boss one of your Koffings, you're gonna lose 1 energy, but we got 2 more on the next turn. If we evolve 2 other Weezings on the bench, that's why we have 4 Koffings, that's why we need 4 copies of the basic, because on the next turn we need to evolve into double Weezing so that we can use Energy Factory to double up our energies, double up our darkness energy for us to do a lot more damage with our Smog Burst and also attack with Smog Burst. So we need to evolve a lot of Pokemons for this deck. But we do have our Great Ball in addition to Incense and Ultra Ball for Bibarel as well. So we need to evolve Honchkrow, Weezing, Bibarel. It's a lot of things that we need to do. But we do have our Dark Patch, 𝘿𝙚𝓚𝓚, and Bruno Marnie to basically speed things up. So Radiant Greninja as well for the draw support. Okay. So here comes Double Turbo on the second turn. They actually did the evolution, that means they can't do the Trinity charge. I guess they're a bit afraid of the Honchkrow for some reason. I'm not sure what they are afraid of. They should not be evolving yet, because if they got the energies, they can actually do a Sharon later. I don't think we can knock them out as the basic. But you never know, because we can... Well, we don't have the other Koffing though. If we have a second Koffing, we may be able to kill the Arceus as the basic. I guess they were kind of anticipating a one-hit knockout, you know, a sudden strike with like a Moltres or something. Because Moltres with Diaflame Wings can actually do a Arceus knockout. If you have, you know, enough energies in the discard pile, because we have Greninja as well for the discard. If you have a Choice Belt attached, you're actually doing 220 damage with Aura Burn. And, you know, you actually need to play a Dark Patch, but it's not that difficult to pull it off. If you're playing a full Darkness deck, Dark Patch, Diaflame Wings, and that earns you a V knockout within a single turn. So Galarian Moltres V is kind of broken right now, because people are playing Pokestop to discard their energies, people are playing Pokestop to get their Dark Patches, Tracking Shoes. I've seen a deck that plays nothing but Galarian Moltres with the Pokestop and insane amount of Dark Patches. You can actually play, well, I'll leave you guys to get creative with that. I don't want to give off spoilers. So let's just focus on this one. And we're gonna play our Honchkrow this turn. Thank God we got our Honchkrow. We got the evolution with Bruno. We would get either an Incense or at least an Ultra Ball, because we actually drew with Bibarel as well, so we should be getting something. Or at least an energy to draw another 2 cards with Greninja. So we only have 2 cards in play for the draw support. And if they play an Avery, we would be quite, well, we would be destroyed quite a lot, because we have no way to draw cards on the next turn. We're gonna have to sacrifice one of the Koffings if they play an Avery. and, you know, discard the Greninja because Bibarel is kind of better. So discarding one of the Koffing means we lose an energy. That's why, you know, that's why I was taking some time considering whether to attach the energy to our Bibarel. If you attach the energy to Bibarel though, even if you evolve to a Weezing, that energy is gonna stay as 1 because only energies, only darkness energy, basic darkness energy. I actually played a hiding and forgot that it only works for basic as well. So Energy Factory only works on your basic darkness energy attached to Weezings. If it's not attached to Weezing, it only serves as a single darkness. If it's attached to any Pokemon that has Weezing in their name, Galarian Weezing, Alolan Weezing, there's no such thing, but you know, any other Weezings, well, only Weezing though, so no Koffing. If it's attached to your Koffing, it still serves as 1 darkness. So Galarian Weezing, we even have the Rebel Clash one, so if you have one attached to that early game, if you do Ascension for the energy lock, for the ability lock, and then later on evolve a Energy Factory Weezing, that darkness on your neutralizing gas Weezing is going to serve as double darkness. That means you can use that energy to retreat with an Air Balloon. Well, it's actually kind of the same thing though, isn't it? If you have an Air Balloon and 1 darkness is the same thing. If you have 2 energy attached to the Weezing, you can discard 2 to retreat because it basically is discarding 4. Okay, we got a second Bidoof. No Honchkrow, no other Honchkrow. We're just gonna knock out the Arceus this turn. Pretty sure we got enough. We just need 140 damage, 120 actually. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Already enough. We are already able to knock out the Arceus without attaching the energy because it actually has a 20 base. Smog Burst is doing 20 base plus 20 more for each darkness energy attached to all of your Pokemon. That means we actually have 5 energies in play right now, plus the 20, plus that 20 base is equal to 120. And if we attach 1 to one of the Weezings, we got another 40 damage. So that's like 160, but we actually decided to attach to the Koffing because, you know, they could quite easily do a boss to kill off one of the Weezings. So if they kill the Koffing, we don't actually need to evolve anymore, but we do need, we still need to play more Raihan Dark Patch to basically get more damage in the game. So you can think about adding a experience share for this deck. Experience share on one of your Weezings. Obviously attach the experience share onto the Smog Burst Weezing. If you attach it to the Smog Burst one, they're probably going to do a boss on the Energy Factory. They're probably going to boss the Galarian Weezing with the ability and knock it out, because without that ability, all of your energy is basically only 1 darkness. So that ability is basically helping you do double the amount of damage. It's kind of the same thing as turning their weakness into darkness. Except it only works for your Weezings, as I keep saying. So if you have a darkness energy attached to Honchkrow, or your Murkrow on the branch, if you don't have enough Koffings to evolve, if you have Murkrow, you actually need to play a second Night Cyclone before you can do enough damage with your next Weezing to do a 1-hit knockout on a V-Star. So we may not need a 1-hit knockout on our, for our first hit on the Weezing, because we are doing Night Cyclone for 160 damage. That means our next hit is gonna be a lot less damage sensitive. We don't need that much damage to finish up the previous knock out the previous Pokemon that we actually damaged, unless if they offer up a new V-Star attacker or a VMAX attacker. So if they have another new V attacker or another new tanker, then we actually need a lot more damage to kill off the second one, unless if we get our boss. If we get our boss or escape rope, we may need a lot less damage. But the amount of damage that we're doing keeps on growing if we have experience share, but we actually chose not to play that. We have more Dark Patch and Raihan instead, just because Dark Patch helps out with your Honchkrow. If you have your Dark Patch for Honchkrow, you can attack faster. If you play experience share, you don't have as many draw supports. You won't have as many balls in attack, and we actually need a lot of balls to evolve all of our Pokemon. If we don't bench enough Koffings, we're done. If we don't evolve them fast enough, we're done. So we need a lot to make this deck work, and we can't actually fit in, we actually didn't have a Manaphy at some point, and decided to, you know, play an extra experience share. But I think you kind of need the Manaphy for every one price deck. If you're doing a one price, you need that Manaphy. Okay, here comes the V-Star. We have one final knockout. We actually killed off the Pikachu. They were expecting us not to be able to kill a V Pokemon, but it's only 190 damage. I think we did 200. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, we did 200 damage. Okay. Probably gonna do a boss right now. We just need to play our Moltres, and that may actually help us kill off the Giratina in the active. Moltres, Raihan. Well, if we do a Clara, we can't do a Raihan. I don't think we have the Moltres in the discard pile, so we're gonna need to play something else. Greninja to draw extra cards, possibly do a Bruno. So we played a Marnie and a Bruno already. That means we don't have that many supporter cards left. If we get the Raihan Dark Patch, that would help us a lot more to do extra damage with Weezing. If they don't do a boss as well, we got like 2 extra energy. There we go. No boss, that's great. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 160 damage in the game. That means Dark Patch is gonna get us another one. If we get a Darkness Energy and a Raihan, we can actually knock out the V-Star on the next turn. Right? That's like 6 more, like 120 extra damage, which is exactly right. We just need 3 more energies on the Weezings. If we do Dark Patch on Murkrow or the Moltres though, it's not gonna help us do enough damage. So are we gonna invest all the energies on Weezing to win the game on the next turn, or are we gonna play it safe and do a little damage on the Giratina and then play a boss later on? I don't think we use our boss just yet. We may not have a boss for this game. Well, I think we actually do, but I'm pretty sure we used it already. I'm not too sure actually. So we only are playing one copy because we don't have the space for it, but you kind of need those power cards. If you don't play enough boss in your deck, you can't win, you know, that easily, especially against the meta. And if you don't play your Escape Rope, you know, key cards that you need, you know, switches, your balls, your Dark Patch if you're playing a darkness, if you're playing an energy sensitive deck. So we're just gonna play our Industrious Incision right now. We're gonna get the Murkrow, bench it, and play the Dark Patch on the Murkrow. We're gonna play it safe for this game. We're gonna do Night Cyclone on the next turn and possibly do a boss. So we have the boss inside the deck or perhaps discarded already. I'm pretty sure we played it. I'm not too sure actually right now. So anyways, we just need like 3 more strikes, right? If they play another V card though, it may be a bit more difficult. They don't have any energies on the Arceus, and they are not playing Melanie for this deck. Apparently they have no water because they need Lightning for Pikachu. They need Psychic Grass for Giratina. Is very energy it's very energy sensitive, right? Because you don't get to play Melanie. You can play a Raihan though, but we have 2 prizes remaining. So I don't think Raihan is... I don't think you can afford a Raihan right now. We got a boss, so I think we won the game with a boss. We're just gonna boss the Arceus right now. I think we got enough damage. So that's 8, 9, 10, 11, which is exactly enough. Plus the 20 base is 220. So if we did our Dark Patch on the Weezing, we would get only 260 damage, which is almost enough to kill the Giratina, but not quite. So if we got like a Raihan though, instead of the boss, we would have enough still, I think. I'm not too sure. Well, no. We would have 260 damage, wouldn't we? Oh no, if we didn't play a Raihan, if we attached instead of the Murkrow onto the Weezing, we actually got only 240. So if we attach another one on the Weezing, we would get So we need to play the Dark Patch Raihan and attach from our hand all 3 energies onto the Weezing. That would get us a minimum of 280 damage for the Giratina knockout. If we attach a single energy to anything other than the Weezing, we're not going to kill the Giratina with 1 hit. So it's actually safer to do that though. It's safer to invest on your Murkrow so they can do more damage on your next turn. Prepare for your next Weezing, while also doing 160 damage, putting pressure on your opponent's V Pokemon so that they actually need to, attach more energies onto a new one, attack with another V Pokemon, and if we play Escape Rope, they're done for because we can get extra energies with the Escape Rope, extra prizes, my bad, and that's the end. So right now we're up against a Psychic deck. Mew VMAX, we can actually do a 1-hit knockout with Night Cyclone if they don't play Oricorio. We're not doing Choice Belt, so Oricorio can actually deny us the 1-hit knockout with Honchkrow, but it cannot actually deny us the knockout with Weezing. Smog Burst is definitely gonna kill Mew with 1 hit, for sure. We just need to prepare for that. Honchkrow does not necessarily need to hit the Mew VMAX that early. Well, it needs to hit it early, but it does not necessarily need to do a knockout. A 1-hit knockout. I wasn't aware that they could do Meloetta. I should be more careful because it's kind of expected that Mew VMAX decks are super fast and they can actually play Elisa and Melodious Echo on the first turn, and which they actually did to knock us out. They killed the Greninja with 140 damage. They can even play Power Tablets for extra damage. So Melodious Echo on the first turn going second is very powerful, especially with 4 Elisas in your deck and 4 Fusion Strike energy. Okay, Genesect, Mew VMAX, no Oricorio. Let's hope we get another switch card because we just wasted our Air Balloon. We got a Bruno and a Bibarel, so we're gonna attach the energy right now and hope we get another discarder. I think we discarded an energy on the last turn, I'm not too sure. So we better be getting a Dark Patch, an Evolution, and an energy. So we need a lot of things, don't we? I think we should be playing the Ultra Ball right now, but we just decided to play Bruno instead. So I'm not sure if we can do it this turn. There we go, we didn't actually do it. We're gonna Dark Patch on the other Honchkrow, on the other Murkrow, preparing for the next turn if they do a boss. Should have done the Ultra Ball to evolve it first, right? Because then we would have gotten enough energies to attack, but we don't have the switch though. We don't have the switch to attack, so it's kind of the same thing. If they do a boss, we would be wasting our evolution. And we are only playing Clara for this list. We have no rods. 1 Clara and 1 Pal Pad. That means if your Honchkrow gets knocked out early, before you're able to do Night Cyclone, that would be quite bad. So make sure you evolve as late as you can, because if you have your Murkrow knocked out as well, I don't think you can play Night Cyclone. If you go first though, you can attack on your second turn with Dark Patch. If you go second, it's going to be a bit more difficult to avoid the knockout, unfortunately. But we have a second copy to spare and a heavy ball to get it from price, so it's not too bad. We can at most do Night Cyclone twice before we're required to play the Clara. So for this game we actually do have a rod, but we don't have the rod for the final upgrade because we need cards like Pal Pad, we need cards like, Great Ball for the extra Pokemon search. If we don't play those cards, the deck is not going to be as consistent and you're not going to be able to win as many matchups as you'd like. So we got our first Cyclone. We're gonna do Ultra Ball for a Koffing and then transfer all the energies onto the bench. 1 on each of the Murkrow and Koffings. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to bench a basic with the Ultra Ball, which should be meant for your evolutions. because we don't actually have that many incense. So we're just gonna do it. We're gonna bench. We're gonna get our Koffing. We're not gonna get the evolution. So we are actually playing 3 copies of the 60 HP Koffing from Shining Fates with the Ascension attack, helping us evolve fast, helping us lock our opponent's ability turn on our first turn going second, or on our second turn going first, by evolving into the neutralizing gas Weezing. If we have it inside the deck, if it's prized, we can't actually do the ability lock. We are only playing 1 copy of the Rebel Clash Weezing, but if we get it inside the deck, if we do Ascension fast, we can actually lock them and force them to dig their deck for that Escape Rope for the boss. If they don't get either of those 2 cards, they can't actually get past the ability lock, and they cannot draw cards with Bibarel, they cannot draw cards with Greninja, Genesect V, they can't do anything. They can't play Shady Dealings. No Starbirth. So that first Weezing is gonna buy us a few extra turns for us to charge up our Honchkrow, and then lead up onto our Smog Burst after that, and then maybe play another Night Cyclone before the next Smog Burst. If you can play double Cyclone before doing multiple Smog Bursts, you know, before doing your Weezing, you can actually play your Weezing over and over after that, because you actually have enough energies in the game after doing double Cyclones. If you double Cyclone though, you got like 2 energies on each Koffing on your bench, and if they play Avery, discarding 1 is going to be really bad, and if they play Boss as well, if they knock out 1, it's going to be quite bad as well. So it's kind of the same thing, I would say, if you do double Cyclone or 1 at a time. Okay, we're gonna get the Energy Factory. I think we have enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, not actually. We need to attach another one. 8. Another one to the Weezing, because if we attach it to the Murkrow, we won't have enough damage to kill the Mew. They got an Oricorio. That means we need another 2 energies. So we got 6 now. 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 180 damage with the Dark Patch. Are we gonna play the Dark Patch right now? I don't think so. We're just gonna save the Dark Patch for later. We should be getting either a Moltres or a Honchkrow. So we're gonna put pressure on our opponent, force them to choose whichever Pokemon to knock out on the next turn. Whatever they do though, we got another Honchkrow or another Weezing to attack. We should be benching that, because if they kill any one of the 2 Weezings, we can revive the other one by doing a Clara or even evolving the second copy. So we're playing 2 copies of the Smog Burst Weezing and also 2 copies of the Energy Factory Weezing, which is the main combo for this deck. Weezing with, well, Smog Burst with Night Cyclone. Okay, we got 2 prize remaining, and they did not do a boss, because apparently they want to be killing off the active. They should be doing the boss on the Energy Factory one, because Energy Factory is the most craziest ability. If you don't have that in play though, if your opponent no longer has that ability, Smog Burst is doing a lot less damage, 20x less. Okay, we got enough damage. I think we actually attached the same amount with 𝘿𝙚𝓢𝓽. So we got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. So that's like 440 damage, which is more than enough to kill off the Mew VMAX another time. So we got lucky with a Psychic matchup, because we are playing a Darkness deck. We should be winning against a Psychic VMAX or a Psychic V-Star deck. A Psychic Ghost. If they're playing a Fairy type, a Fairy deck, it's not that clear. I don't think we have the win. I don't think it's that we should be that confident yet, because Fairy type has Metal weakness. They're not weak towards Dark type. Okay, we got Weezing early. Koffing. We may be able to do Ascension to lock their Inteleon Shady Dealings. They are playing, I think, a 𝘿𝙚𝓙𝓚𝓽𝓾𝓻𝓷𝓮 deck. I'm not too sure. Okay, it's a lost box, my bad. So we still need the Weezing though. We need the neutralizing gas to shut down Comfy's annoying flower select, and 𝘿𝓚𝓬𝓽𝓾𝓻𝓷𝓮 also cannot attack if we have our Weezing in the active. If they do an escape rope, 𝘿𝓚𝓬𝓽𝓾𝓻𝓷𝓮 can actually spit innocently for 110 damage. Path to the Peak. So we are not playing any stadium cards for this deck because we can't fit any copies, unfortunately. If we play training card, we can draw a lot more with our Greninja and also attach energies from our hand every single turn. If we don't play training card though, we have a lot more consistency for us to pull out the right cards at the right time, for us to basically make the strategy work, make this combo work. If we have the training card, we can actually revive our energies, which may not actually help us do a lot, especially if they're playing another stadium on the next turn. Immediately after we played our stadium, discarding it after one turn, I don't think there is much value if you're expecting a discard. I think they're gonna do their first knockout right here. They played a Marnie though, and then after they did a escape rope scoop up net, which is just painful. Pretty sure they did escape rope though, right? Another switch, another retreat. My bad. You can only retreat once per game. So you can't retreat more than one time every single turn. You're only allowed one shot. If you retreat with Air Balloon, you can't retreat with the energy on the same turn. It's the same thing, right? So we're gonna do Ultra Ball, Great Ball for the evolutions. We got our Bibarel. We're gonna evolve into the Honchkrow for the bench. And hopefully, well, we should be doing the poison though. If we evolve into the Weezing, we may be able to collect our first prize by poisoning the Comfy. Unless if they get their switch. If they do a switch retreat, they can actually remove the special condition, but at least if they scoop it up though, it would be quite terrible because we would be doing nothing. They would essentially be wasting one entire turn. If they don't scoop it up though, we can actually do a boss and collect the knockout with another severe poison while staying in the active. So we need to stay in the active with our Weezing, and for that to happen, you either need to play a hit and run, like a Murkrow V, or you know, or you have to basically attack with the Weezing. To play severe poison with Radiant Sneasler or something like that for 60 damage counter every single Pokemon checkup. So I don't think they can protect from special conditions because their keywords. My bad. They don't have a big parasol. Big parasol protects from a lot of things, doesn't it? It protects from Ditto damage counters. It protects from one hit knockout 𝘿𝙚𝓙𝓚𝓽𝓾𝓻𝓷𝓮. It protects from special conditions, confusion. It's kind of a good card right now because it not only protects your active, it prevents your bench Pokemon as well from being targeted by effects of attacks. But it only works if it is attached to your active Pokemon though. If the Pokemon that you have the big parasol attached to is on your bench, then that tool card is not going to work. That tool card is not going to do anything. So are they able to switch this turn? If they don't switch, we got our first prize. Here comes the Sableye. How many cards do they have in the Lost Zone? I don't think they can pull off the Lost Mine this turn, but possibly, I'm pretty sure they can do it on the next turn. They need to play enough Colress though, because we are locking their Comfys from using the ability. So they still may not have enough cards in the Lost Zone. even after multiple flower selects. We're gonna play Ultra Ball for a Honchkrow apparently. So let's draw with Bibarel right now. And we're gonna play Severe Poison this turn to possibly knock out the Comfy again with you know, Retreat Trap, because they can't actually use their ability and they only have 2 cards in their hand. If they don't play a supporter card, they may not get the Scoop Up Net or the Escape Rope to get past Weezing, to get past the Poison. So that's why Comfy decks need a lot of Escape Ropes, because Weezing is a big thing right now. But if your opponent has a second Weezing on a bench, we actually only are playing 1 copy. We're not playing 2 copies of the, there we go, Cross Switcher. So they actually did, they should have, oh, they can't actually play the ability. So they can't actually play Flower Select before the Cross Switch. That means they can't actually, you know, that means they're actually forced to retreat to the same Comfy right now, because they don't have a 3rd copy. So retreating to the same Comfy is actually giving us a knockout on the next turn, because we have an Air Balloon. We can do Severe Poison again. That means we got our 2nd prize by killing the Comfy. We unfortunately have to calculate you know, the tiny amount of prizes, the tiny damage counters that we are doing with Severe Poison, because drawing prizes slowly against a 1 prize is a big deal. Is a very, very big deal. So don't underestimate those tiny prizes. And the tiny amount of turns that you are buying, that you are stalling with your Weezing, is actually doing a lot, because Weezing can not only help you buy turns by trapping your opponent, you know, locking their abilities, preventing them from using Radiant Venusaur's ability, preventing them from using Bibarel's ability to draw cards, and also shady dealings for the search. They can't search cards, they can't draw, they're basically stuck, right? They cannot use Comfy's ability as well, they can't use Oranguru. They're stuck for 1 entire turn, and if they can't do anything, they have to pause the turn over and over until they dig out their Escape Rope or Boss. And we can actually, while that happens, we can actually get extra damage into the game with our Severe Poison by poisoning their active. If it's a V-Star, we can actually collect the knockout with our Night Cyclone after using our first Weezing. So Weezing to start the game is actually pretty good, because it helps you poison your opponent's active while trapping them. That means all you need, if you have 12 damage counter from the poison, and Night Cyclone is actually enough to kill a V-Star on the next turn. So obviously Ascension for your Rebel Clash Weezing to start the game is very good, because you're not only slowing your opponent down by, you know, forcing them not, by getting them stuck, because they can't use shady dealings, they can't use Bibarel, they can't use Comfy, they can't use Mew, they can't use all of those abilities unless they have an Escape Rope. If they don't get their Escape Rope boss, you know, Weezing is gonna earn us extra few turns early in the game, which is doing a lot, because early game meta decks are doing they are super fast. They are actually able to set up very, very fast early game. If you can trap them early game, that's gonna, you know, that's gonna do a lot for you. So 12 damage counter from the Poison, plus 160, killing off the first V-Star with your Night Cyclone and the Severe Poison is gonna help you a lot, because after that, you even got extra energies on your bench for you to do Smoke Burst for your 2nd V-Star knockout. If you have your Raihan, enough Dark Patches for you to set up for your next Weezing, for your next evolutions as well. If you can evolve the double Weezing plus play extra few copies of your Dark Patches, you may be able to kill off your, their 2nd V-Star with 1 strike. Especially if you get your Moltres. You would need about 7 energies though. You would need at least 7 energies attached to your Weezings, or like 5 energies attached to both Weezing and maybe a Moltres for the extra 2. Well, I don't think that would be enough. So I think you need a lot of energies, because the 2 energy attached to Moltres is not considered as double. So you need 5 energies on the Weezings. If you have 5 energies on all of your Weezings in play, you actually still need 4 energies on your other Pokemon. 4 Darkness energy. So it's pretty difficult to play. Okay, here comes Sableye. We're gonna knock out the Sableye right now. And then they got Cramorant, but I don't think Cramorant is gonna do a knockout. Because we got 130, 120 HP Pokemons. If they don't play Zigzagoon, Cramorant is not gonna do a knockout. They actually lost their Radiant Charizard. I have no idea why. I have no idea why. Because 12 damage counter is not enough to kill the Weezing. Weezings, both the Weezing, all the Weezings for that matter, have 130 HP and everything else have 120. If we keep benching though, they can draw extra prizes, or they play Echoing Horn. So I suppose that may be their main strategy right now. If they play enough Echoing Horn, they can actually collect extra prizes for the win, but they have 6 prizes though. I doubt they would be able to do it fast enough. It's a bit too late now. So I don't think this deck is a one-hit knockout strategy. We're not doing a one-hit knockout early, especially, well, not even on our next strike following the first Night Cyclone. After doing your first Night Cyclone, you may not be able to do a knockout, one-hit knockout with your Smog Burst, but we are basically, you know, slowly multiplying our energies with, you know, with Dark Patches and Raihan. We don't have experience share, but, you know, if we don't get to do a one-hit knockout, at least we are doing big damage with Night Cyclone and Smog Burst. We are doing 200 plus damage with Smog Burst, and then 160 with Night Cyclone. It's not bad. We cannot kill a Goodra V-Star, obviously, but at least we can do big damage to deal with any V-Star or VMAXs that don't heal. If they don't heal their Pokemon, we can win pretty easily because we got big damage with both Stage 1 Pokemons in play. And we have a lot of attackers. We have multiple attackers, plus that Moltres as well. Fiery Wrath for a late game strike, 270 damage if your opponent have 1 prize remaining. If they have drawn 5 prizes, you got 270 damage in the belt. And that's gonna give you a big damage output, especially if you have done enough damage on your last turn. So that's why I say Severe Poison is very important. Do not underestimate it's not a tech card, right? Our Weezing, the Neutralizing Gas Weezing is not a tag card. It's actually a card that you need to play just to get you that extra damage counter in the game, for you to do quick knockouts with your Night Cyclone, and then, you know, Smog Burst for the win after that. If you can play your second Honchkrow, even better. If you have a bench Murkrow, and then transferring if you can move it onto the Murkrow as well, that would be, you know, a big plus. Because that actually gives you double Night Cyclone, double transfer. If they do a boss though, I don't know what, like, if they play Avery or boss, they're gonna cut down 1 energy, but I don't think it's too bad. It's just 1 energy anyways. Okay, we're gonna play a Clara. And we're going to do our Moltres right now. So we got a lot of energies. We're going to attach the energy to the Honchkrow. I don't think we need to do anything else, really. I think we already won the game. Because if they attack with Sableye, we got the other Weezing to do 100 damage, because we are doing 50. We just need 1 energy. Remember, you just need 1 energy for Smog Burst and Suffocating Gas. I think that's the attack's name for the Energy Factory Weezing. So Suffocating Gas does 50 damage for 2, 1 Darkness and 1 Colorless. That means 1 Darkness is enough because it has the Energy Factory ability, which actually duplicates the amount of basic energy you have. You need basic energy though. I actually went through a game where I attached a Hiding and, you know, miscalculated. I thought the Hiding was actually a double, but if you have special energy on your Weezing, it actually is only considered as 1 single Darkness. So make sure you are extra careful with that. You know, that's why we're playing so many basics. 11 copies of basic energy and only 1 Hiding. No Aurora energy. We even have Raihan and Dark Patches, which works only for basic energy. That's the reason. Experience share works for basic as well. I quite like experience share for Weezing. I think it's the best combo, but can't really find a space to fit into this deck. Okay, Suffocating Gas. We got our last prize. We won against the Lost Box because we trapped them for way too many turns. Okay, let's play against a Jolteon now. We're playing against a bench snipe and they got Inteleon. I don't think they're playing Lost City though. It would make a lot of sense for Jolteon to play Lost City because they can Lost our Manaphy and then do bench snipe 100 extra damage and then, you know, 2 extra damage counter with Inteleon every single turn. Pretty sure they have 𝘿𝙬𝓚𝓽𝓾𝓻𝓷𝓮 as well. So Jolteon is kind of a big thing right now. Any bench snipe card, honestly, or shuffle with Lost City. Because Lost Box is a big thing, right? Sableye Lost Box is a big thing. If they play multiple Comfies or Cramorant Sableye's on the bench, Rapid Flow is going to get you so many prizes. It's going to get you 2 prizes at a time. Echoing Horn, I mean, Urshifu is broken right now. And all you need is a Lost City for the Manaphy. If they have no more Manaphy on the bench, you win the game. If they play a Psychic type though, Urshifu is going to be in trouble. So obviously play a Psychic counter like a Drapion. But if you play Drapion against a non-strike card like Shadow Rider, I don't think it will work that well. If they play Shadow Rider and the only Darkness Pokemon you have is Drapion, then you would need 4 energies just to attack for a knockout, which is, you know, virtually impossible unless if you do double turbo. I don't think double turbo is that viable either, because even after attaching the double energy, you still need either Raihan. You need a Raihan and a Dark Patch, or Melanie and a Dark Patch. If you don't play both on the same turn, you cannot attack. You actually have to attack on the next turn, and by then your opponent has a boss. So it's not really that viable, honestly, Drapion, because we have Shadow Rider. Like, come on. It works against Mew VMAX, obviously. Obviously, but there are other legit Psychic decks that we have to watch out for. You know, Mewtwo V-Star, Lunatone Solrock, well, that's a 1 prize. It doesn't really count. Shadow Rider, Deoxys V-Star VMAX. I don't think there's anything else that I can think of at the moment. So they did 20 damage to our Honchkrow, but we just benched the Manaphy. We should be good for a few turns because Manaphy is in the game. They can quite easily do a boss right now to deal with the Manaphy from the very beginning. And we got 1 Clara to retrieve it, a Pal Pad to retrieve the Clara to retrieve the Manaphy. But Pal Pad shuffles the supporter, that means you're gonna have to draw it back. So I prefer playing the Rod, but Pal Pad is actually kind of essential if you want to be playing your boss. Sometimes you're forced to discard the boss with Ultra Ball just to draw cards with your Bibarel, and that means Pal Pad is gonna help you. Is gonna save your boss from being discarded without play. You get to play your boss even if you discard it with the Ultra Ball. And we actually are playing a Rod for this game. So some of the games I have a Rod, I'm sorry about that. Some of the games I have an Experience Share as well. But the final upgrade, I decided to just, you know, make the deck a lot more consistent by adding, you know, a lot more balls and a lot more ways of benching the basics fast. Because if you don't bench your Koffings, you can't do anything. I keep repeating myself, but it's important. If you don't bench your Bibarel, if you don't get your, you know, draw engine fast enough, you're done for. We have to bench a lot of Pokemon. So we need at least 1 Koffing, 1 Bidoof, and 1 Murkrow in play to start the game. If we don't, we're done for. We don't really need the Weezing though. If we can do Night Cyclone first, if we want to use that attack first, then we don't need the Weezing. But I would recommend playing Ascension first if you know they have abilities. If you know they are doing Sobble, For this game, they don't have a Sobble in their on their bench, so we don't need to use our Weezing just yet. But we know it's coming, so we should be using it eventually. But I don't think we should be using it at all because they are doing a VMAX. That means we should be paying attention to knocking out the VMAXs with our Energy Factory Weezing and the Smog Burst. So sometimes it really depends on the game. Sometimes it may be better not to play your Rebel Clash Weezing at all, because Ability Lock and Poison sometimes is, useless if they can do, damage already early in the game with, fast attacks like the 2 energy attack from 𝘿𝙬𝓢𝓽𝓾𝓻𝓷𝓮, Max Thunderstorm, I think. Only 2 energies, and if they have the tool card attached, if they have the Elemental Badge, they only need 1 energy. We may need to retreat with the Honchkrow, so we're just gonna evolve right now. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 120 damage in the belt. I don't think we should be retreating though, because it's not enough to kill the 𝘿𝙬𝙢𝓚. Might as well just attack with the Honchkrow. I'm not sure if that's the best decision. We should at least be keeping the Weezing in our hand. And there we go. They dealt with the Manaphy. They have to deal with the Manaphy. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 180 damage in the game with our Smog Burst. But we should be doing Dark Patch on the Honchkrow and retreating to play. Oh my god. They have a 𝘿𝓚𝓬𝓽𝓾𝓻𝓷𝓮. They're killing the Honchkrow. Oh my god. That's annoying. Okay, no Velocity, but they do have a 𝘿𝓚𝓚. I'm pretty sure they have like at least 1 or 2 copies of the Velocity. Just haven't got it yet, I suppose. Because they need to play Shady for a bunch of other cards. Okay, Manaphy dealt with, but it can quite easily be revived. They don't have the Elemental Badge and energy to attack with the second one. That means we got our first knockout here. We got our first VMAX kill with Smog Burst. We can definitely do 140 damage. Like, we don't need that much energy. 160. We just need 1 energy attached to our Weezing to do 160 damage right now. We're gonna play our Bruno, but I'm not sure if we want to do our Rod just yet. Okay, we did our Dark Patch. I'm not sure if we should be using that this early. We should be getting another Murkrow. So that's 140 damage, which is exactly enough to kill the 𝘿𝙬𝙀𝓢𝓚, because we got like 4 energies on both the Weezing, plus another 2, plus the 20 base, that's 140. We need to attach the Darkness to a Murkrow. I would be playing a Murkrow. I don't know what I'm doing right now, because we have a Raihan and another Dark Patch. Okay, we just got a Greninja. I have no idea why I did that. This is weird. This is really weird. We got 180 damage in the game. Way too many. I think this was one of the earlier games that I was playing this deck, because I didn't realize that we just need 1 energy for Smog Burst. Energy Factory is doubling up our energy, our Darkness energy. That means 1 energy on the active is enough for us to play the attack. I don't think I realized that while I was playing this game, because this was one of the earliest this was one of the earliest stages when I was testing out this deck. That's why we have an online Rod. That's why we have experience share, I guess. I'm not sure if we have an experience share for this game. Sorry, guys. So we could have done another, because we don't need to draw any more cards. We seriously don't need to draw any more cards. We even have another Bidoof on the bench, which is just ridiculous. So Roxanne is not doing anything because we got 2 Bibarels now. But yeah, we don't need the Greninja. We should have benched the Murkrow and then do a Dark Patch Raihan for another Night Cyclone. That would have given us so much breathing space. It would have sealed the game. I don't think we have a boss for this game, unfortunately. So if they attack with the new VMAX, we would be in trouble. If they have like 4 VMAXs, that would be terrible. Can they attack this turn? I don't think they can. No energies. So they exhausted the Inteleon. We didn't even prepare for the Manaphy. Like, we could quite easily revive our Water Veil, but we weren't actually bothered to do that. Okay, they just conceded though, so they didn't attack. So that, I suppose, says a lot, I guess. Because if we kill the active right now, we got 2 prize, that means we just need a boss to deal with one of the bench. But I don't think we have a boss for that deck. I don't think we have a boss for that game. That's why eventually I decided, you know what, we need a boss. It's just way too important to leave out a deck. I don't know why we have no boss for that game. Don't ask me why. When I first built a combo, I'm focusing more on making the combo work. I'm focusing more on getting as much cards necessary to revolve around that combo so that it can shine as bright as possible. That means we have no space, we have no room for Manaphy, no room for boss, no room for enough incense or stuff like that. I don't want to think about it. Just don't judge me. That's how I build the decks. That's how I play the game. Because I really want to make cards shine. I want to make trash cards like what's it called, Honchkrow, shine as bright as possible. Because the game always make cards that are virtually impossible to play. Almost impossible, not impossible, but they love to build cards that are kind of that have weird effects that doesn't actually work in the metagame. So to make them really work, you need to put in a lot of combo cards. You need to kind of I don't know what to say. You need to work with your numbers, really. If you don't play the right cards, if you don't find a card that can do multiple things at the same time, you won't have enough consistency to pull off the combo. Okay, right now we're up against a Regigigas deck. We just need to play Ascension. If we have the Weezing in the deck, we're good to trap them for a few turns, I guess. I don't think Reggie plays Escape Rope. They have Boss, but I don't think they have enough Escape Ropes, because they probably would be playing Scoop of Nets instead. So this game was actually quite... We got a bit lucky by getting our Weezing inside the deck, because we could have it prized. We're only playing 1 copy, and we are not doing a lot of damage though. Keep in mind that Severe Poison is slowly killing them off, but we need 3 turns. We need like 5 Pokemon checkups. Well, yep, 5 Pokemon checkups, which is a lot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's basically 3 turns just to kill 1 Reggie. Four Pokemon checkup, my bad. Sorry about that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if they retreat or scoop up their Pokemon, we cannot knock them out. But it's basically, you know, a competition of how many switch cards they have, how many Escape Rope, how many Boss, and how many Scoop of Nets they have. If they run out of the Scoop, they're just gonna, you know, they're gonna have to deal with the Poison or retreat with the energy from their hand, because they got no abilities. So they just conceded, which is a bit of a dud, but oh well. Against 1 prize decks, we have our Neutralizing Gas to trap them, because 1 prize needs, you know, they need a lot of ability supports. They need Altaria, Bibarel, Chinchino, they need Mew, they need all sorts of bench supports like Snorlax, Gormandice even. If they don't get to play those abilities, they're done for. Weezing is a big thing against 1 price decks. Okay, we got our Murkrow, but we don't actually have Koffing on the bench. So they are playing a very interesting deck. They have Double Gunner for, you know, ability bench snipe, damage counter snipe on the bench, and also Jump Bluff with Octillery, the Scroll, and also Rapid Strike Energy Raihan with Sobble. They got Shady Dealings for Raihan, and then Rapid Strike Search for the double Turbo Energy. Well, the Rapid Strike Energy. And then if they evolve the Skiploom, all they need to do is play a Raihan with the Shady Dealings. Well, they don't even need to evolve. They can actually search with the Raihan a Skiploom from their hand, evolve it, attach an energy, and search for a tool card with the auxiliary. If they have a double turbo in their hand, they can attach it and they can evolve with the ability. So I'm not sure if Weezing is gonna help us for this game. The other Weezing, I mean. We could be playing that to shut down Jumpluff's ability and also deny them from using Shady Dealings and Auxiliaries Rapid Strike Search. We should be using it though, but I was actually focusing on killing all of their Pokemons fast. If we can draw all 6 prizes, we win the game, so I don't think we need to be bothered about Weezing, because Weezing can quite easily be countered by a boss. If they play a boss though, they can play a Raihan, so I think it would be smarter for us to focus on Weezing at some point in the game. But we didn't actually do that. I have no idea why. It would have been so smart for us to do that. So we treated to a Koffing, and we forgot about the Manaphy. I don't think we should be benching the Manaphy that early though, because they got the Double Gunner, which is placing damage counters. They're not doing damage on our bench. They're only hitting our bench with damage using Jumpluff. And if we have Manaphy when they got the Jumpluff out, that would be great. So we don't actually need to dig for Manaphy just yet. Once the Inteleon starts dying, that's when we should be getting our Manaphy. If they play a Cheryl on the Inteleon, I'm gonna flip. I don't think they have a Cheryl though. If they play a Cheryl, 1 copy in the deck, they may have it priced. So they need a lot of cards to make the Jumpluff work. They need Shady Dealings, they need enough Inteleons, enough Auxiliaries in the deck, at least 2 copy, and enough Jumpluff, Skiploom, Hoppip to be able to play the ability, because they need to attach the energy, use the evolution ability for them to stage to evolve the Hoppip, while at the same time search for a tool card and do a bench snipe. So if they don't get either one of those cards, they're done for. They just need to play the search ability though. If they got the search ability, they are actually really, really good. So if they have that many cards in their deck just to make the Jumpluff work, I don't think they are playing a Cheryl. I don't think they have that many cards to, control. I don't think they have that many bosses, that many Cheryls, because they need the Raihan. Okay, they actually did a boss right now and killed off the Bibarel. Oh, not this turn, my bad. On the next turn, they killed off the Bibarel. So at least we got 1 turn to save ourselves with the draw. We got our first Cyclone, because they didn't do a boss this turn. So this deck is a bit slow if you don't get your, if you don't get the right cards out. You need a Dark Patch and enough Darkness energy. Greninja is gonna help you draw and discard your energy as well for Dark Patch. So I think Greninja is actually perfect. We're forced to discard the Bibarel and Scoop Up Net for a Koffing. I would prefer to attach, to bench a Greninja or a Bidoof, but I don't think we can afford it right now. They gave us a training card, so we're just gonna discard the energy and retrieve it. We have no choice but to bench a Koffing, because we want to be transferring our energy onto Koffings. If they do a boss, it would be quite terrible. Oh, we don't actually have a training. We played a Clara. They didn't give us a training card, but we have a Clara in our hand. So we're gonna play the Clara to bench a second Weezing and get the Smog Burst Weezing back into our hand. And that means we got 3 energies on all the Weezings on the bench. And we just need 160 more damage to kill off the VMAX. That means 1 energy is enough on the Weezing, because that would be 6, 7, 8, 160. So we just need one more energy on one of the Weezings. Don't attach onto something else. If you attach to other, other than a Weezing, you're not getting the double effect. If we evolve the third Weezing though, I don't think we need another energy from our hand. We can attach to a Murkrow or something like that. So they're gonna do a boss this turn and trap us, trap our hand. Because now we have no cards, no supporters, no draw engine, no Greninja, nothing to draw cards with, and we are stuck. We are drawing 3 prizes though on the next turn, so I think we're good. If they boss the Energy Factory, we can evolve it back quite easily. We got a second copy and Bibarel to draw it back, to draw the second copy out. Okay, here comes the boss. There we go. They played the double gunner on the wrong Pokemon. They should have sniped the other Koffing, right? They should have sniped the other Koffing. They played the gunner on the wrong Pokemon. Okay, we're gonna Smoke Burst and deal with the 𝘿𝓼𝓬𝓽𝓾𝓻𝓷𝓮. We won. Sorry, my bad. We killed a VMAX and got 3 prizes. We haven't won the game yet. It's still a long way to go. We got a supporter card, which is a big deal. And now they're gonna do Jump Bluff. I wasn't actually preparing for the bench snipe. They have the tool card that we should be aware of that, but I don't know why we didn't do it. So we should be digging for Manaphy on this turn, because if we don't bench the Manaphy right now, they're gonna hit a second time 60 damage on all of our Pokemons. 60 damage on all Pokemons is gonna be enough to kill everything except the Weezing on the bench, and that means we have like, oh my goodness. If we evolve the second Weezing though, the third Koffing, we should be okay. So it has 70 HP. We should either get a Weezing or a Manaphy on the next turn. If we don't get either of those two, we would be quite unlucky. Because we have 1 copy of each Weezings. That means we have 3 Weezings inside the deck, and a Manaphy with balls as well to summon them. So Marnie should be getting us something. You would think Marnie would get us something. So that's why it's so important to play different cards in your deck. We actually have 3 copies of the Weezing with Ascension, which only are having 60 HP. If you have only 60 HP, bench snipe is gonna kill you quite easily. Damage counters with Sableye as well is gonna kill you. Two Koffings at a time for 2 prize every single turn with Lost Mine. You can play Echoing Horn to revive your Koffings. The Shining Face Koffing onto the bench. So that's why we have our 70 HP Koffing from Rebel Clash to basically tank and buy us an extra 1 turn to survive 1 turn for us to evolve later on and deny them the knockout. So I'm not sure if we should be playing a Bruno or a Marnie, because we got 3 VIP in our hand. It would make a lot of sense to play a Marnie right now, because we will be drawing 5 new cards and Bruno is actually shuffling the deck. So we have no idea if we would be getting back the VIPs. And there we go, Marnie got us nothing. Marnie did not get us an Evolution. Marnie did not get us a Manaphy. Marnie got us jack shit. Definitely should have played the Bruno. Oh my god. Well, we could possibly make do with what we have on the next turn. So they can't win this turn, not yet. They got 3 prize remaining. We got 10 HP on the Weezing on the bench because they played the double gunner wrong. If they snipe the Koffing though, on the last turn, if they hit double damage counter on the Koffing, I don't think they realize that Weezing has 130 HP because it's not really a common card that people play. It's not in the meta right now, so Weezing has 130 for all the copies, all the variations. 130 HP means double, what's it called again? Matchless Maelstrom. Double Matchless Maelstrom with the Fluffy Barrage is not going to be enough because that's 120 damage. And Double Gunner is going to help them snipe the Weezing for that extra 2. If they played their cards right, they would have won the game a lot faster on this turn. But they can still do a boss. On the next turn, there we go. They just benched the Sobble and they got the Scoop Up Net. That means they can quite easily do a boss right now. There we go. They knocked out both the Weezings. And then boss is all they need on the next turn. We got 1 energy for the retreat. So Galarian Weezing only has 2 energy retreat for this variation. For the Chilling Rain one. So 2 energy retreat means 1 basic energy is all you need for you to retreat with the Energy Factory Weezing. And then if we bench the Manaphy and play our cards right this turn, we actually can attack with Fiery Wrath for a knockout and hope that they don't play a boss. If they don't play a boss, they can't get past, they can't get a knockout honestly because they have nothing else to attack with. I don't think, you know, Hoppip is going to get them a knockout because they are flipping a coin with Hoppip. And if they play Inteleon, they got 40 damage, but they need to snipe. If they are hitting damage, if they are playing Inteleon, they are doing damage to the bench. So we actually have a Scoop Up Net for this game as well, but Marnie did not get us our Scoop Up Net. I don't think we have it inside the deck. We may have it priced, or we may probably have played it already. I'm not too sure actually. So we got our Raihan, Dark Patch, and Hiding Energy. We actually have enough for Moltres to attack, and we even have an energy on Weezing to do the retreat. But I don't think we realized that 1 energy is enough for us to retreat. So that's why we got another Dark Patch with the Raihan. We could have gotten a Scoop Up Net. I don't think... Well, if we have a Scoop Up Net, we would have gotten it. We don't have a Scoop Up Net inside the deck. Because Scoop Up actually helps us retreat as well. So Scoop Up not only recovers the damage, but also helps us retreat. That means Zigzagoon isn't going to be enough. They just need a Zigzagoon though. If they have a Zigzagoon, they win the game with that 1 final prize. So it's actually quite close. It's like super close. They did not have a boss. I have no idea why. Because they have the Shady. They have the flipping Shady dealings. So that's why Jump Bluff is so difficult. Because even if you get those extra snipes, even if you get to play Fluffy Barrage and the Matchless Maelstrom for a full 60 damage on all of your opponent's Pokemon, with Passimian in play as well, you got 90 damage. My bad, 180 damage on your opponent's V Pokemons. I think. Is it 160? Well, 120 damage on your opponent's V Pokemon every single turn with Matchless Maelstrom. It may still not be enough though, because you need to play Raihan every single turn. You may not have enough bosses in the deck. You may not get it at the right time. So that's the trick about a Jump Bluff deck. And I think you actually need to play Lost City if you are doing Jump Bluff, because Manaphy is actually like a legit card right now, so I don't think you can go without a Lost City. But Jump Bluff would actually work really well in the meta right now. So I think I'm just getting the voice right here, and if you guys focus on the game, hope you guys enjoyed this new combo. So we're featuring the new Honchkrow from Lost Origin with a Night Cyclone attack, doing 160 damage for 2 darkness and 1 colorless, moving all energy from this Pokemon to your bench in any way you like. And we are actually setting up for our next attack. We are doing Smog Burst after our Night Cyclone, doing 20x damage for each energy attached to all of our for each darkness energy attached to all of our Pokemon, and then doubling up the power, doubling up our darkness power with our Energy Factory Weezing from Chilling Rain, helping us, you know, turning all basic darkness energy on all of your Pokemon with Weezing in their name into a double darkness. So that's all for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Have a great day, and bye for now, lovely people! Enjoy life!